So your first song that really, really took off was Meant to Be.
Meant to Be.
But that's a
the
duet.
third song I released as well.
That's really early to have something take off that much. But that was with, I forget, who
Charlie.
With Charlie.
Yeah.
You recorded that in the UK, right? So
we did.
This was before you didn't get deported, but your visa ended. This was before you had to come back, right?
It's actually after.
It was.
It's a little complicated on the timeline, but yeah, I lived in England all throughout 2020.
Yeah.
And I was there for the pandemic, and it was very weird.
I'm sure.
Very weird.
Yeah.
And it was also weird being away from home. And then I came back in December 2020, moved here, and just had nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to stress that enough. Had nothing.
Well, because you weren't from Minneapolis. Like, you moved back to America, but you were from Bemidji.
Right.
So you came to this big city that wasn't coming back home.
No.
It was to a new big city. You didn't have friends and a whole network of people in yet, and nobody was socially gathering, especially in a city like this.
Exactly.
So
well,
you're alone.
like, especially like for the time as well.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I would do like 2 Zoom sessions a day.
With who? Just friends
people
of yours
in the
from
UK.
back? Okay.
Yeah, so I would like wake up at 6 a.m. and start doing sessions with people in the UK. And then sometimes my manager would put me in like a session with an artist or a songwriter that's in LA. So then I could do that in the evening because of the time zone differences. So I was just on my laptop writing songs with strangers that I'll probably still never meet. Yeah. Like for hours, like all day. It would be wild if I came out of the basement. And one of those people that I would just write with over the internet was Charlie. And I'd never met him before, and he's someone that reached out to me on Instagram back when we both had like 1,000 followers.
How did he find you?
Through a friend of a friend. It was just like mutual.
Yeah, okay.
And he was like, hey, I've heard you're awesome to write with. I think you're really cool. Let's do something. I'm on the Isle of Wight. Where are you? And I was like, Minnesota.
Move back.
Yeah. So we just like, honestly, like very organically had this beautiful like internet friendship for the majority of the pandemic.
Sure.
And did all these Zoom sessions. And when the borders opened up, it was months after like moving back here. I think it was 6 months after the borders opened back up, and all of my belongings and everything were still in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Like I wasn't planning on staying in Minnesota that long. I was planning to move back.
Oh, okay.
But a lot happened in life, and there was a breakup, and there was just like a lot of reasons for why I stayed here. So when the borders opened back up, I had to get back over there to go and like get my guitar and get everything I've owned for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And I made a point to go and meet Charlie in person, and write with him in person, because we just had this really good relationship at that point. And the day I landed or like got off the boat, because you have to fly to England and then take a boat to get to the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
We sat in his backyard and had a cup of tea and wrote Meant to Be in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And then like demoed it up that day. And I was like, it's whatever.
Sure.
It's just another one of the songs that Charlie and I've written, whatever.
Yeah.
And I sent it to my manager, and he was like, oh, okay. That's a country song. And by that, he meant that's the best song you've ever written. You should put it on TikTok. And so we put it on TikTok, and it was Charlie's first TikTok ever.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'd been posting for 6 months at that point and like maybe had 10,000 followers. So it was really right at the beginning, and yeah, it just blew up. And it was the first time I'd had a moment like that.
Yeah.
Before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was about as big of a moment as it gets, right? Because that's at 90 million streams currently.
Yeah.
We were meant to be, just not made to last.